Welcome to Tuft Talk by Card-Monroe. I'm your co-host, Zach Monroe, along with
your other co-host, Will Card, and we also have our eye in the sky, as always.
Andrew Card on the controls here.
So, Will, exciting first episode.
Yes, it is.
New technology we're going to get into by CMC. Before we do, just a reminder, you can find our podcast as we move along on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever else you watch, listen, get your fill of podcast, as we all like to these days. So want to kind of introduce this new technology from CMC, this groundbreaking technology that CMC has patented. Will, ColorPoint Sports, exciting. We've had customers running samples the past few days. Talk through it with me on what you've seen, and I'll kind of give a little color commentary as we move along. But I mean, just exciting, revolutionary, groundbreaking technology when it comes to artificial grass in the playing surfaces of multiple types, right?
Agreed. Yeah. It's very exciting. And, it's exciting for us to even get to this point to where our customers can see it. It's been probably 10 to 15 plus years we've been working on this type of technology. We've been working on, different variations of it, trying to get it to where it needs to be. And always we're missing, a couple aspects to it, but with various technologies have coming out and have come out with, we've been able to marry a lot of that and just bring this revolutionary, ColorPoint-esque type technology to the turf industry.
Yeah. So I remember my dad saying that during the 2008-2009 time when, here at CMC, we our bread and butter is selling tufted machines for the carpets and rugs. And during that time, the economic collapse, we went several months without selling tufted machine, very tough time. So they were working on, during the downtime, a machine that might be able to accomplish this in the artificial grass space, in the playing surface space. So kind of talk through that. Like, what does accomplish this mean? What for the end user now have we been able to do?
I mean, we've been able to give them basically full design capability. The end user, you go to our customers, we're giving them full design capability. But even beyond that, the true end user of who's installing these fields, they have the option now of, basically picking out whatever they want to put in artificial turf, and they can do it all in one pass. They don't have to worry about all the, we got to cut this out and glue this in to try to get what we need. But we're truly giving them the full they're basically whatever they can imagine, they're going to be able to put on artificial turf.
Right. Yeah. And like breaking down what you're saying. So today, in the method that they have to do it, let's say they want to make a red, white, and blue American flag, right?
Yep.
So they have to tuft the red in a 15-foot roll good. They have to tuft the blue in a 15-foot roll good and the white in a 15-foot roll good. Then they have to take that artwork file to, most of the time, what they would be a water jet cutter, cut out the American flag. Someone would have to take all those pieces, the stars, the long stripes of the flag, and as you were saying, as like a puzzle, put it together and then glue the back of it.
Yeah.
So what we've been told is that all of that can be up to a 3-day process by the time that the glue dries. And with this new technology now, where we are allowing them to make this American flag, it could be in 30 minutes. So you're taking something was a 3-day manufacturing process. You boiled it all the way down to 30 minutes. And now you obviously have less people. You have less
inventory
of those big rolled goods of colors, and you have less waste of having to cut those pieces out. I think that's amazing, but also graphically. So what you can never do before is, as we were mentioning before, you wouldn't take two individual ends of a certain color and by hand place them together. So as we've seen in some of our sampling processes, now they can do these cool gradients of colors and fading of colors in and out. So now you have, from a graphical standpoint, you have just these amazing opportunities for the end users to even more expand the artwork that they're able to provide.
Yeah, it's not even just the basic logo itself. It's the background that you're even able to design in this, which is huge. It gives you, you had so much design capability already as far as logos go. Yes, it was more labor intensive, but the main logo itself, you could do some design work to. But even the background in this, you can make a lot of alterations and changes. And I think even, talking about flexibility in this technology. You think about college bowl games where they're playing, or the Dallas Cowboys stadium where they're playing multiple games a
Jets
year.
And Giants.
Yeah,
Sheriff
Field. You're playing multiple games a year on these turf surfaces, and instead of having to roll a new field out or pull the logos up, put new logos in, this allows you to have those logos already tufted in. And like you said, you can basically do it in whatever shape you want. So you can just sew in these different logos, and your fields are a whole lot more flexible as well.
Yeah.
So you can go from playing like you said, a Giants game one week in the same stadium, and then you go to the Jets the next week. They're at home. You roll their logo back out, and it's a seamless process.
Yeah, yep. And even so, as they move forward, they could roll whole end zones in and out if they wanted to manage that. But even if they, what I deem too is you've got these areas now where even if you were to sew a circular, advertisement in and out, you're still only sewing in that advertisement. Instead, now you're sewing in that advertisement, and that advertisement itself could be 300 sewn pieces together,
Right,
depending upon the complexity of the logo. So it's really amazing from what has always been an industry norm, and this one of those situations in which the artificial grass industry, when it comes to playing surfaces, they just had to live with it. And even as much as these high school fields and things like that, we think about what we see on TV, but it's the same situation for however many high school fields or municipalities are out there. And we talk a lot about football, but also, another part of this is my sons play traveling sports, in particular baseball. And just about every tournament that we go play on
artificial
turf, mostly because of weather and rain. There's hardly any rainouts, and even the stability of the playing surfaces now on the batter's box, because when a lot of these fields, when you see them, that's what's worn out the most, because you have somebody digging into it every at bat. But those are all cut in, and now you can seamlessly add that to your whole field. So the opportunities are immense.
Right.
And what have we always said? When we're nuts and bolts people, right? We're machinery manufacturers, and when our customers get a hold of it, sky's the limit.
The sky is the limit.
Yeah.
And, going back to, some of the application, I think it's going to be really cool to see. I've been doing a lot of trying to be a golfer lately, so I've been doing a lot of hacking.
Don't sell yourself short.
So, one round.
Will has been hammering the golf ball lately. He's underselling himself.
Oh, it just depends on. I can hit it a mile. It just depends on which mile that is. Could not be straight down the middle. But there's a lot of applications there. I think outside of, we think of the big sports in the States such as soccer and football, but there's a lot of potential with this type technology as well. And with, it's like I mentioned, golf is.
I have a great for instance though. So
Yep.
I was at the place that I'm a member of on Sunday, hitting on the driving range. They had the actual natural grass area closed. They were doing some work, so we all had to hit off the mats. And I was looking at those mats, and I'm like, how cool would it be if that club's logo was in the mats?
That'd be awesome.
Just if it was green and white. Instead, it's these junky old, just plain green mats that everybody's just sitting there repeatedly hitting off of. But then you take it a step further, and you're like, some place that they have these indoor simulators now. They have places, we won't say the name, but there's places that you go and you have food and drink, and you hit off out of these bays, for entertainment, and you score yourself. And they have,
I think I may know where you're
Angry
talking
Bird
about.
games and stuff. But like even places like that who have just plain green mats, you've now opened up the opportunity for them to sell sponsorships, to put the bay number in there, to put their logo in there. And I've done an Amazon search. You go to Amazon, you look up personalized golf mats. There is none.
Doesn't exist. Not true golf mats. So I think this kind of technology
it really is revolutionary because it's not available because the process and the machine for making it hasn't been there.
And it just the possibilities keep coming to mind. I was traveling, here a few months back, and you think about you're going out to these pool areas at these big chain hotels, and some of them have artificial turf around the pool, and it gives them the possibility of putting their corporate logo in the pool where they weren't able. Right. They may not have wanted to pay to do that before, but now they can do it with the, in the design of the turf that they're getting around their pool. So it gives the opportunity to just a lot of these hospitality chains as well to market themselves in the different areas that they're in.
Yeah. What about if even it was just some subtle patterning of two close but different shades of green, and it just put some, different type patterning into it where it's like a motif or something cool, but it's not like a stark logo or multicolored thing within it. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities. Another thing too, you think of, you go to these gyms and a lot of them have agility mats and they're pushing these sleds, doing sled workouts and things like that, or you have different distances or different boxes that you need to do certain things in, whether it's a CrossFit gym
or the dot drills.
Yeah, whatever it may be. And those have been hard to do because you really don't have the ability. They can do the plain green, but they don't have the ability to put those lines in and the different numbers or whatever it may be. Here you go. There's another case. You have a machine now. You have the capability now as an end user to purchase something that brings more flexibility to even your gym space, right?
Right. Yeah, and I'm just excited. Like I said, these are just with every machine we come out with, we have a set market of what this is going to go into.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those, the possibilities seem endless to us. And it's like, we think we've thought of everything, but I'm sure there's going to be so much more out there that we haven't even thought of that we're going to get to see our customers just go into those markets and see this machine thrive. So I'm really excited to see just the possibilities I can't even imagine.
Yep. Like we were saying earlier, the creativity that our customers come up with in design and application, we're just now hitting the tip of the iceberg. So very excited to see the first few of these get out to the market, see what they look like. I can't wait to see the first few fields installed with this technology. But so you and I, we've been speaking a lot of the end use, the end application. So, in summary, if you're an installer now, it's going to be easier to install. You're going to have less claims on it as you move forward, just without having to place all these logos in that have been cut and glued together literally. And
because anything that has human touch to it is subject to error. For
Absolutely. Sure. So that's going to be easier, and then that in of itself will lead to some point of creativity. Also, the machine can do up to 6 colors. So you have this color bank now of 6 colors. One's probably going to be a green, maybe one be a white, but you have 4 to 5 other colors to play with. And as we're saying, fading in of colors in and out of some gradations in and out. So you've got that now color bank to pick from to do fascinating work. And so that in of itself is revolutionary. And not only are we making it all at one time, but we're giving them design capabilities that these fields have never seen before.
Right. And just to piggyback off of those design capabilities, when we've had customers in here just to look at what we've done with what this turf is always going to look its ugliest is here, but just seeing the reaction to the design capabilities we've given to the customers with this machine is like, we've had several customers tell us, and you've heard it, Zach, that we've changed the game with this.
Yeah.
I mean, we've touched on all the things that we're saving on earlier on in the episode, but, just the design capabilities that, that they can offer to their customers they've just been blown away.
Yeah. I mean, those comments that have come from our customers who are making these fields, obviously for the end use purposes. All they've done is see 1 or 2 samples initially. And I had a customer say, y'all have just changed everything, as you said. And I said, I think we're onto something. And he's like, no. He put his hand on my shoulder and he goes, no, y'all have just changed our industry. And so I think that's how revolutionary it'd be. As far as like the technical side of the machine. So for our audience that's, maybe looking at this for buying a field, or their installer, they're just interested in artificial grass. I think we've hit on for them, man, you've got something coming down that has never been able to be done before.
That will allow you to offer to your customers something they've never had.
Yeah. Or if you're someone looking at buying a field for whatever reason, you now have something out there that's way better than anything you've ever had in stability, but also in just design. But as far as from a technical standpoint, these really come off two different type machines of what we're speaking of. So our patented ColorPoint Sports machine, we took the ColorPoint patented process that we use in carpets,
which
today.
Everybody knows so well in the carpet industry. For sure.
It's a gold standard in the carpet industry, in residential, commercial contract, hospitality. Everybody's using that now for color placement, right? So as we've talked about, we've taken that technology of color placement that was in carpets, we've added it into turf and given them that ability now to not just do green fields with a white line in it. Now you can do multicolored with that ColorPoint technology. And talk a little bit about through what other concept that we have in our other machine, but how we use that concept then and married them together to create our ColorPoint Sports
So
machine.
as we were going to develop, specifically for the hospitality industry, we were developing a hollow needle machine, which for those in the industry knows it's similar to a Tapestron machine that they've asked us to revamp and add our Infinity attachment to it and bring it to the modern day. So we did that, but along the way we realized, hey, there's some capabilities if we marry these two technologies of ColorPoint and hollow needle together. Is really how as we were developing it, we saw that ColorPoint definitely, there was a marriage there that gave us a patented process for this machine that gives you the capability, like we said earlier, in the turf industry of utilizing ColorPoint.
Yeah, and revolutionize the game once again. It really is amazing, just the creativity and the ingenuity of people within these walls here at CMC.
Which it's like we say, we always got to be able to, create something new, because we have machines that last for forever. So as we just continue to develop, product development is always the lifeblood of our business. So this is one of those things coming to light as we thought we were at the limits with ColorPoint, and then, new technology comes along, we start developing something new, and then the light bulb goes off, and it's like, man, we can marry these things, and it's a whole new platform we didn't think was possible.
Yeah, I mean, every time that I look at something, which I'm not the creative person. I mean, I know that's shocking. Everybody think, oh, you're the one creating all this stuff. No. But every time I see something, like, well, how can we top this?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been working on trying to come up and fix this. Well, I say fix, but more solve this solution.
Meet the need. Yeah.
Meet the need in the turf industry since 2008, at least, if not longer than that. And we haven't been able to do it to the degree where it was repeatable and stable enough for production environment, to make fields with. And then, the Lord continues to bless us with ideas and with
customers that challenge us.
Yeah, customers that challenge you, and then boom, we've seen it with other applications of ingenuity along the way that we have that I'm sure we can get into in further episodes, where we've been challenged by some customers and have been able to deliver some really exciting new technologies. But this one's always been exciting for me. When you ask my friends and you're like,
what do you do?
What do you do? And then you say, well, I make, machines for carpet and rugs. And
so you make the carpet, right?
Turf.
You make the turf.
Yeah. And then when I say turf, everybody latches onto that. Yeah. And then once they know that, they always ask me, oh, is that your turf? Do you get to go to the Super Bowl because it was made on your machine and that's your turf? I'm like, no, it's not my turf. We're the enablers.
Right.
So here at CMC, we enable through our machinery for our customers to make the fields. But yeah, most people think that what we do here is just make all the turf.
We provide the paintbrush to the artists. We're not the artists.
That's exactly right.
We give them the tools.
That's right. Thank you, Andrew.
the voice from the sky.
Yeah. He chimes in to bring the, no pun intended, color when we need it.
The color?
The color.
There you go.
Of the paintbrush. But yeah, exactly right. So but being the sports fanatics that we are, little tidbit into this world of the podcast. We actually did our first test podcast just talking about the Tennessee Vols, and we did some score predictions. I did not pick the Vols to lose to South Carolina.
I don't think any
Actually
of us did.
said, quote,
No, you mean
For
Arkansas.
shoot. I did not pick the Vols to lose to Arkansas. Actually said in our trial podcast that the Arkansas was terrible.
Well, it turns out we're both terrible.
Yeah. So I
for
guess
that last week.
those celebrity pickers and the ESPN analysis are all safe.
Yet another reason
weren't
that
coming for their
podcast
job.
will never see the light of day.
Yeah, exactly right. But back to my original point of we're all sports fans. So this is a very exciting topic for us as sports fans and as people who see these fields on our TVs, but also us playing sports. So, the both of you playing soccer, my kids playing baseball, football. It's really exciting evolution in that whole process. And as we talk about these artificial grass fields too, I think it's important to talk about why are they gaining in popularity across the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, I think about back when I was playing football in high school. I was unfortunately not good enough to play in college. But yet you were good enough to coach when you graduated
and mold the minds and hearts of the next generation.
They just didn't have huddle tape back then.
They just didn't have huddle tape. I was before
okay.
my time, is what it was.
Yeah.
But no, I think back to those days when we were playing on grass fields and you come Friday, you're all excited for the game. And here comes a big rain. You're like, man, we are going to be playing in a mud bowl tonight. But, just the flexibility and capability we have nowadays that most of these surfaces are going to artificial turf because they can play on them in any weather. I mean, it can rain 30 minutes before and the field's dry by, 30 minutes later. So by kickoff, you're ready to go on a dry playing surface. And you don't have to worry about the maintenance of a natural grass field with these. You're able to reduce maintenance costs.
I think that's one of the biggest costs that many people don't think about. Obviously, the weather is an obvious one.
I mean,
but what I always think about, when I was in high school on Fridays, I'd be bored in class, and I had in one of the classrooms I was in, it overlooked the football field, and I would just sit there and stare out the window and watch them stripe the fields and paint the white lines. But also at that time, my high school, they had to during the week practice on a practice field, and then save the game field for only game days because obviously in football especially you tear it up. Well, now the high school team today, because the field that they use is artificial grass, they now practice and play on the field, and they've opened up what was a practice field for their middle school students to now use a practice field. So this multi-use flexibility of high schools, different recreation areas or centers, it just continues to just be another reason for these artificial grass fields to take place. And of course, as you were saying, the maintenance and then not needing to water it, seed it, mow
that's huge.
Stripe it.
If you think about it, that's huge cost savings for these municipalities and schools not having to water fields. That's a huge reduction in your cost to run a facility when you don't have to water something to keep it alive or help it regrow grass. It's just so, and like you said, so much flexibility is, we're not living in a world where they're making any more land. We never have been. So these schools, some of them over time have become landlocked by what's grown up around them. So it's just, as you mentioned with the different fields, it just gives you so much more flexibility. And as far as you're planning for your future, for your school of what we need to use the land for, because you just have so many more options now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And before we wrap up, Zach, I know we touched a little bit on this earlier, but innovation and development is the lifeblood of this company. But also, I think you and I both share the same sentiment of we're so appreciative of customers that have pushed us to this point. It takes key partners, those being customers that come alongside us and really challenge us, not in if you don't do this, we're going to not be fans of CMC anymore, but they want to see the industry grow too. And they know we're the people that can give them those capabilities. So I'm very appreciative of those customers that have pushed us to this point to where we are able to offer something they've been asking for so long for.
Yeah, absolutely. And also those customers that have, when we have new technology, they've come alongside and invested in that along with us. and seen it grow and continue to evolve the different industries that they've been in. And, this is this ColorPoint Sports machine, in which, we've been challenged by and come up with a patented solution for. It's just another way in which some customers are coming alongside us, investing in that and watching the industry grow because of it. So yeah, I agree with you.
I think
100%.
it's a big thank you to all those that have pushed us to become better and be their supplier of choice.
Yep, and that's what we'll continue to strive to be every day, and continue to move forward with that in mind, and their customers' solutions always being on the forefront of what we do here at CMC. And I think that wraps up first episode of Tuft Talk by Card-Monroe. We're so excited to continue this journey with you all and the future episodes to come. Just a reminder to subscribe to our channel, like it, hit the notification bell there so that you can be alerted with any new things that we may drop. Like we've said before, maybe an episode a month or so, but really excited for the content that you can find on all of your podcast channels. I'm your co-host, Zach Monroe.
And I'm Will Card. Hit that noti bell.
And Andrew Card having to follow that.
See you next time.